as a birthday present. The artwork entitled Father of Vision 2020, according to Woody, is made of sawdust and it celebrates President Jammeh's excellent leadership qualities as well as his love for Africa and Africans. Martin Jeng, popularly known as Matic Lyrics Jeng, presented a copy of his video single entitled Food Sufficiency to President Jammeh. According to Martin, the video, which was shot in Kalilai, seeks to promote farmers and farming. In response to the two artists, Dr. Yai said he thanked them both for their work, which he said is a form of contribution to the development of the country. The Vice President further said that the music lyrics will inspire the youth by changing their attitudes towards agriculture. The Methodist Women's Federation, the Gambia, followed and met the Vice President to thank government for the support during the recently ended area seminar, which brought together participants from 7 West African countries. The Vice President welcomed the group, led by Bishop Solomon Telewa Johnson, and congratulated them on the success of the seminar. Dr. Yai said he also hailed the excellent relations between Muslims and Christians and urged religious leaders to nurture such peaceful coexistence for the stability and development of the country. He assured them that government will continue its support to all religions in the country. The Association of Fashion Designers was the last to meet the Vice President. The women, dressed in their impressive local costumes, said they were at State House to express gratitude to government for the support. They presented a check for $100,000 to the President through the Vice President as contribution towards the proposed Serekunda Hospital. The Minister of Tourism and Culture, Fatumas Job Jai, noted that this is not the first time the fashion designers have extended their benevolence to the President and his government. Minister Job Jai also hailed the fashion designers for promoting tourism through culture and reassured them of our support for making our work easier. Several other speakers, including Honorable Fatou Lamin Faye, Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, Honorable Fatou Mbaye, Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, and Ida Faye Hadira, the Director of Women's Bureau, thanked the fashion designers for their love and support for President Jammeh. The Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs, Her Excellency Ajay Dr. Aissatou Ndiaye Seydi, also thanked the association for promoting the country's image through culture.
We are really proud of our fashion designers in the Gambia. They've put the Gambia on the map to a higher level. Yes, all of us are putting the Gambia on the map by an involvement in the development process. But the fashion designers have even done marvelous things. They are members of the private sector, not even of government, but they've complemented the efforts of government through their participation in fashion designing the world over, in participation in modeling, in exhibitions the world over. And today, they have ensured that the Gambia has become a country to be reckoned with.
She finally assured them of government support at all times. Mamadou Diallo, GRTS.
The Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure continued his tour of project implementation sites in the Greater Banjul area with a visit to ongoing roadworks in Banjul. Minister Gaba Jahumpa, who was accompanied by officials of the National Roads Authority, also inspected newly completed road projects at Hagan Street. Asitumane has more.
What is happening on the ground in Bokul Street, Banjul? Heavy-duty machinery is scattered around, showing a clear manifestation of ongoing road renovations around that area, and this time it is considered road work with a difference compared to the previous ones.
The design goes as such. What you're seeing being laid here is called the blinding concrete, and it's 50 millimeters thick. Once this is done, we'll come up with, of course, the reinforced concrete slab itself, which is 225 millimeters thick. Why is that thick? Because we want to design the roads to be able to take the loads from the big trucks, the container trucks you see going in and out of the ports, to make sure we get the durability that is expected of a concrete pavement as opposed to asphalt.
The Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure critically assessed the state of work, and he was duly impressed because he recalled when the work began.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and the Merciful, I bear witness that there is one God. I think Gambians would recall that some time back, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Sheikh Professor Dr. Alhaji Yahya Abdul Aziz James Junkung Jammeh, embarked on a tour of Banjul, the purpose of which was to check the bad conditions of the roads in Banjul. And hence, with the support of His Excellency the President, directives were given that we address some of the major roads in Banjul. And hence, as you can see today, we have started Bakul Street. Buckle Street, and it will go all the way to July 22nd Square. We have already completed Hagan Street.
Minister Balagaba Jahumpa noted the importance President Jammeh attaches to the renovation process, and he therefore urged the contractors to speed up the process. The managing director of the National Roads Authority said the works are delayed by the rainy season, but believes that it will be much faster after the rain stop. The next stop for the tour party was the Hagan Street, where the minister was strongly displeased with the state of the newly completed roads with regards to the way the trucks park on the roadside, thereby blocking the movement of traffic.
This is a great concern, not only to us at the Ministry for Transport, Works and Infrastructure, and also for the National Road Authority, but it's also a great concern to the people of Banjul, especially in Hafdai. Because as of yesterday, people have been complaining that, as you can see, this road is new. Already the trucks have become a nuisance, not only to the traffic, but also to the people. Even private cars are parking on the pavements that people are supposed to utilize to go about their business. That is not acceptable. That is why we have also invited the National Transport Union here, so that at least within a week's time, we can sit with them, consult with them, to ensure that they talk to these drivers, truck drivers, so that they will not park. Hagan Street is not parking, is not a parking venue for trucks with containers. Look at the road. It's a new road, but there is almost no road.
The state of the roads did not only worry the minister, but even the NRA boss was worried with the consequences of this parking issue, which they promised to remedy as quickly as possible.
Structures are designed to take certain loads, but as you can see, some of these loads are more than beyond the acceptable limit. And that's not even the danger, but the danger is once they park on one side of the road and on the other side of the road, they tend to have impose more load on one end of the road as compared to the other. And what can result out of this is what we call technically a differential settlement. That means the part where you have more loads, which is subjected to more load, can start to sink compared in relation to the other section.
Officials promised to work with the president of the transport union with regards to the parking issue at the Hagan Street as quickly as possible to avoid any damages to the newly completed road, thereby giving Banjulians the opportunity to enjoy their smooth road stretch whilst awaiting the completion of other road networks. For GRTS News, I am Estomane.
Back to our headline-making story. The President, His Excellency Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya Jammeh, has been visiting the rehabilitated road network at Stinkona, where he raised concern over the placement of some of the islands which segment the road. Professor Jammeh went on to describe the current state of the road as a recipe for accidents, calling on the authorities to do some necessary adjustments on the construction of the network. The Gambian leader's tour also took him to parts of the Battle Hadin Highway and Kotu. Shortly after his tour, President Jammeh shared his views with our Abdinjai. Here's an excerpt.
Today at Stinkona, and I heard at one point you said that the placement of some of the islands are residue of accidents. Can you expand on this, Your Excellency?
Because of the transition projects, I was obliged to study on my own. There was somebody who told us that you can use floating barrels for a bridge somewhere in Sami, whatever. You remember that theory by Major Bojang, who was then Governor of CRR, by something Job, Khalifa Job, I think. So, I realized that unless you study something, as a head of state, they will always cheat you. So I developed an interest in studying structures. What I'm talking about is that nowhere in the world would you have a vehicle getting out of another highway into another highway at a 90 degrees angle. You must give what we call allowance to flow into the traffic, what we call the slow lane. As we are going into the highway, there is a lane dedicated for vehicles just entering. And that is why when you go to a place like the US, you have what we call the fast lane. And if you're on the fast lane, you don't stop. Do you understand? So any major intersection, It has to be wide